Xbox with their Copilot. The big thing about Copilot and what many people wanted is like, if you're playing a video game and let's say it's a very difficult game, if you want hints and tips and tricks, now this is kind of baked into their app. Hey, welcome back to the channel, Autonomous Income. I'm your co-host, DJ. Deuce isn't with us today, but we're going to be going over a couple topics that are just hot off the press. One, Xbox. They finally came out with their AI companion, the Copilot for Xbox, which Deuce and I were talking about a couple months ago, thinking it would be a great idea before they made the announcement that it was even a thing. So now it's a thing, and we'll be talking about that and capabilities that you can actually do with it. It seems really cool. This is in direct response to Project Astra, which Google, of course, they've been talking about it in touting, and they're also getting into gaming where it'll kind of help you out. So we'll go over those. Also, speaking of Google Veo 3, as y'all know, it came out and it's been taking the internet by storm. All the socials, you'll see it all on there. We've used it, but apparently that it's, when it comes to copyright material, it's a little bit more lenient than maybe some would think. So we'll talk and get in a little bit more of that as well. We'll talk a little bit more in detail about how that's going and kind of some of the pitfalls that are happening right now. All right, let's dig into it. So first off, we'll start with Xbox with their Copilot. So the big thing about Copilot and what many people wanted is like, if you're playing a video game and let's say it's a very difficult game, if you want hints and tips and tricks, like when I was younger, I subscribed to, I think it was a tips and tricks, hard to say that, magazine, and like it would just show like hints and it would have like, different kind of codes and whatnot that you can pull in. Pretty harmless, but it was a cool gaming magazine. Now this is kind of baked into their app. So what they've released is their Xbox Copilot, and essentially you'll be able to ask that Xbox Copilot details about your game. So like if you're stuck somewhere, or if you don't know exactly what to do, you can kind of converse with the Copilot and it'll help you out with letting you know where you're stuck at. And it's actually pretty cool. They announced this a couple months ago. Deuce and I talked about it, I want to say at the end of last year, saying like this would be a great idea. But of course, we figured something like that would be in the hopper. But it's a new AI tool that allows players to directly ask for game help through the Xbox mobile app. Today, the team has started testing out AI Companion on iOS and Android in certain regions. So it's not out everywhere, but in certain regions it is. For now, you need a beta version of the Xbox mobile app to get started. And then, of course, they'll release it further and more broadly later on. But early versions of this, beta testers, as it says here, can ask the Copilot about any games, including the game that they're currently playing, or ask for help if they get stuck. It can also answer questions about their Xbox activity, like play history and achievements, or even provide recommendations of what they want to play next, which is pretty cool. So it's, really want to be just like all the other kind of chat experiences these days, conversational, to where like you can really vibe with it and kind of say like, hey, what's something cool that's out there, like Doom, it might recommend that for those people that are into that game. But the whole point is a really good, solid step. In my opinion, I think this is super solid because one, like I've always, when I was growing up, sometimes if you're by yourself, you're playing a game, but sometimes you do want like, like you need some tips or some advice. You get stuck in something and it gets frustrated. And I know back then, like we didn't have access to everything. And even now you have to kind of jump out of the experience to hop on a web page. And some World of Warcraft players back in the day, I remember you had to go to like WoW Wiki, you had to go to a whole web page. And so you had to have multi-screen with your game up and other things that were up, resources to kind of help you find things on the map. So this would be super cool, like in game where you can, just have it ease of access to learning about all of those things. So I think that's super solid and super cool. So I'm excited about it. As you can see, there's different types of questions that you can ask, recommendations and your play history. Like I said, if you're into those types of things, but yeah, definitely check it out once it becomes more broadly available and let us know what you think in the comments about this concept. Okay, so on to our next topic, Google Veo, as I mentioned before, released, I want to say maybe it's been a week or so to the public. You've seen it everywhere. Like it's just, a lot of people using it. You see it a lot on social media, like it's really cutting edge. I think it's number one as far as for the text to video generators that are out there with AI video, just because the quality and everything like that is super crisp and it looks really good. They're already catching some heat because essentially, I guess the guardrails on it are a little loose and maybe looser than what they should be. But check this out. All right, so right now you have, like, this is a video that was kind of going viral, and you could see, like, it looks like a streamer that's streaming Fortnite. His caption was, "Oh, I won a battle royale with a pickaxe." And, that kind of went out there, but that led people to think, like, man, like, can you just put any type? And I got a lot of people to thinking about, like, man, like, how does copyright infringement work when it comes to these video generators, especially if they're going to look this good? Like, it really looks like Fortnite is. So, one, that, they train on a lot of data that has this, and it's good when you own own, YouTube. I'm sure they have a lot of videos to train on. Either way, this looks super realistic and very convincing, in my opinion. And you can watch the video. You can search for it on YouTube. I mean, it's on there. That way you can check it out for yourself. And you can watch this video yourself on YouTube. It's there on different, whatever social media platforms. I think TikTok, they had it on there as well. You may have already seen it by now anyway. All right. So as you know, earlier this week, Google unveiled Flow. So that's a tool that can be used to generate AI videos with ease, as I was mentioning before. VO people, immediately started to see what they can kind of do with it, test the limits, and they wanted to generate gameplay footage for whatever reason. Because, social media influencers and just, content creators, they're wanting to test the limits. So the tools are really good at looking like games that you would recognize, like Fortnite. I think they had some of like Mortal Kombat and some other ones that are out there that you'll start to see all around. But as you can see here, there's Matt Schumer posted. He's like, oh, I don't know if VO3 should be able to generating Fortnite gameplay is what it has here. And as you can see here with Matt Schumer, he's like, oh, I don't think VO3 is supposed to generate Fortnite gameplay. And you can see here, like, it looks super crisp, very fluid. You can see, it's all the animations, the colors popping and everything, the jump movement and all of that. And so you can hear it. It's full audio because, VO3 can also generate audio as well. So all of that is kind of baked into there. So it's pretty interesting, I would say the least. So you'll probably see a lot going around right now. Yeah. So look, even GTA 6, it did have that as well. Yeah. So you'll see people that are out there on social media right now. Influencers, they'll be testing the limits of VO3 and all of its capabilities. Like here with GTA 6 is another one that you can kind of see that it's like really impressive, like that it can mimic that gameplay. Now this one you could probably tell is a little bit like off because he's not necessarily squarely centered, but it might fool somebody. You might put that in front of somebody, in your family that's not really into it, and they may not be able to pick up on that being off. All in all, let me know what you think in the comments below. VO3 is definitely, I would say, definitely check it out. If you have Google Ultra, I think you get like 5 prompts that you can do in Gemini per day, in addition to when you get the credits and all that other stuff through Flow that you can use it in. So you can use it in Gemini for a little while and you can use it in there. Let me know what you think if you've already played around with it. In addition to Xbox, like the Xbox Companion that you have now with Xbox Copilot, let us know what you think about that, because I think that is going to be pretty cool as they kind of build out its feature set and add on additionally to its capabilities. I think that's going to be super solid. All right. We'll talk to you on the next one. Peace.